Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Casework Class 2. Hope you all understood the first video on casework and you got some idea about what is casework, isn't it? Yes. So now we are moving on to the principles you have to follow when you're doing casework, right? Okay. So today I will start with the principles to be followed while doing casework, right? Any method, if you got to follow, you got to remember certain principles before applying such methods. Anything, for anything, may it be engineering or medicine, whatever profession, whichever method you're following, you got to apply certain principles. So before doing casework, and you always remember, we are going to handle human beings, that too living human beings. So before handling living human beings, we got to follow 8 principles, right? And that too you're going to handle one to one. You're going to talk to a person personally. So you got to keep in mind 7 principles before handling a person. The first principle is acceptance. Yeah, it's very, very important that you need to have this principle in mind before talking to a prison inmate. Okay, you got to accept him as he is. All you have to have in mind is he is a human being. That's all. Accept him as he is. Never have anything against the person. Never judge him based on the act he has committed. Okay, let him commit anything. We are not bothered about that. Our idea or our goal is to correct the person. So always remember that you have to accept the person as he is. He might be a rapist, he might be a murderer, he might be a serial murderer, okay? He might be a cheater, he might be a burglar, right? We are not worried about what background, what case he has. We are not looking and going into the details of his case file. Hope you understood. We are not here to punish the person. We are here to correct the person. Of course, you need to know about his case details, but it is not to make judgments on the person. It is to understand the person, understand the psyche of the person. Otherwise, we are not supposed to treat the person according to his case. We should not have any judgmental ideas. So, we are going to accept the person as he is. Yeah. On the other hand, there are many varieties of people. There are illiterate inmates, educated inmates, intelligent inmates, not so intelligent inmates. Okay. There are so many variety of inmates. Rich inmates, poor inmates, people who are willing to work, people who are not willing to work, people who are dull, people who are mentally all right, people who are not mentally all right. There are variety of people who you will be encountering in a person, in a prison. Okay, and you are supposed to accept them as he is, as she is. That is very, very important in a prison setting. Not only in prison, even in community. We are all social workers. We have taken a pledge that we will treat each and every person with dignity and worth. Yeah. In the basics, I have taught you about how to treat a person with dignity and worth, how to consider him or how to help him to know the worth of a person. Right? So now we are talking about the acceptance of a person. Let him be tall or short. Yeah. Let him be obese, right? let him have health issues. Whatever he has, we are not concerned about that. We are not concerned about his criminal records. We are not concerned about anything at all. We just look at the person as a human being. Okay? Right. So now we are accepting the person as he is, with all his strength and weakness, with all his background, with all he has, we are accepting the person. Sometimes the person may be quite emotional. He has sudden outbreak of emotions which may be expressed on you also. Still we need to accept the person as he is, because that acceptance will help us to deal with him later. Dealing in the sense correcting him later, right? So hope you all understood the principle of acceptance. And as social workers, that to prison social workers, acceptance is a must even among your colleagues. There will be same category of people among your colleagues, right? So as a human being, basically we need to accept others to get along with others. Society is nothing but acceptance, accommodating with others, cooperating with others. We had seen this in sociology. So basically you have to accept the prisoner as he is, right? Okay, let's move on to the next principle. The next principle is relationship building or rapport establishing or rapport building, whatever you call it. Yeah? Unless we build a relationship with the prisoner, okay, it is very difficult to work with the prisoner, right? First step towards working with the client is building relationship. How to build relationship? There are several steps in building relationship. Don't be in a hurry to, you know, transfer information. Don't be in a hurry to, do casework. Yeah. Just watch the person, talk to the person. Of course, in a prison setting, it won't be that much difficult to talk to people, except for a few handful of people who voluntarily say that they don't want to talk to you. Otherwise, around 80 to 85% of the prison population will be anxiously waiting for someone to talk to them. So when you extend a hand of building relationship, it works out immediately. It is very easy than building relationship in the community. Okay, so it is it is kind of emotional bonding the prisoner will develop on you. The minute you ask, hi, how are you, or how are you doing today, did you have your food, did your family come to visit you, these questions you can ask as a leading question to develop your relationship. Do you have any problems? Is your son or daughter all right? Do they go to school? Is your wife all right? Is your health all right? All these questions will help you to build the relationship with the inmate. So the inmate will have an understanding that here is someone who is caring for me. Here is some officer who really, is interested in my welfare. So that idea you should develop before moving forward. So always remember that relationship building is very, very important in a casework relationship. If a person, so what do I do if a person refuses my relationship? Just leave it. Don't force anyone to listen to you. Just leave him. Just try after 1 month, after 2 months, if he's staying for a longer period. Once he starts understanding the relationship you are making with other inmates, he will volunteer to come and talk to you. Don't force anyone to have a casework relationship with you, right? So just leave it. Just leave it. Just leave him. There are so many people around you. Okay, just leave him for time being. Or put him with the right person who will be able to handle him. Okay, just find out with whom he is comfortable talking to and just hand him over to him. That's all, right? So relationship building is very, very important, which happens quite easily in a prison setting, because inmates always would like to talk to someone. Yeah, they, of course, they talk among themselves, but if in officer level someone talks to them, he will find it more comfortable, he will find it more comforting, right? The minute you talk to him, he feels that all his problems are solved, right? Though it is not physically solved, mentally he gets a strength that someone is caring for me, someone is talking on my behalf, so that he feels that some of the problems will be solved. So let's move on to the next principle, principle of individualization. Hello, are you with me? Yes. So individualization, what does that mean? Every individual has potential in him. Every individual is born with talents, skills, abilities, and uniqueness. Every individual born on earth is unique. There can be, as I always tell in the class, there can be only one Beulah on this earth, right? There can be only one Balaji on this earth. There can be only one Anita on this earth. There can be only one Junigo. Individualization. Every individual has worth and dignity to live in this world. Everyone has to get equal opportunity. And if you remember Maslow's hierarchy theory, the need hierarchy, every individual has got some needs. Okay, in the last class also we discussed many things about needs of the inmates. But personally, every individual is willing to grow, willing to contribute something to the society. That you have to identify in the inmate. Your purpose of working with the prison inmate is bring the individual in the person. Some prisoners will have extraordinary skills, talents, knowledge, bring out that. These all are going to help him to come out of his criminality, to come out of his association with criminal society. Once he realizes that he is able to do something positively, he has worth and potential to bring out changes in this society. He is also an equal contributor for the growth and development of the society. Then that brings a change in the person. So our focus is to bring a change in the person, to correct himself, right? So what do we do? Individualization. Look for potential areas of growth in that person. Remember, he is an individual. So never address him by nicknames. Okay, call him by his name. Okay, as I always tell in the as I always mention in the class, the sweetest music to one's ears is his own name. No other music is so sweet than calling one by name. Just a few minutes ago, I mentioned about Balaji. There could be a smile in Balaji's face, Junigo's face, Anita's face, because sweetest music is calling someone by name. If somebody calls me by my name, I get a smile. I wear a smile in my face. Why? How does it come? Because I love to hear my name. Once you call a person by name, that again brings a psychological, comfort in that person. So individualization means respecting the individual as a human being and trying to bring the maximum out of the human being. Every human beings want to be respected, want himself to be respected, cared for, to be treated with dignity and worth. And UNSMR says that the prison inmate should be treated with worth and dignity. So it is inner longing for the individual to be, they expect you to treat him with dignity and worth. Colloquially, we use many words to address a inmate. We don't give him respect. When you start respecting him as a human being, then you can see an ocean of change in that person. Call him by name, remember to call him by name, dig out his potential, and try to, make him a whole human being. From prison, there should be a lot of books coming out. If you just talk to the person and respect him as an individual, from prison, you can bring out lots and lots of things if you follow this principle. Just we will move on to the next principle. Controlled emotional involvement. Fourth principle is controlled emotional involvement. When you're working with a person, sometimes we are carried away by the emotional expression of the inmate. When you come to know that your feelings are uncontrollable, it's better stop there and proceed the next day. Principle of controlled emotional involvement. That is one side of the story. The other side is you may get angry by listening to his story. Okay? Right? Some prisoners, we know very well they have committed something, but they will deny that they have not committed that. We are not here to find out, investigate what they have done. They're not concerned about that. Let them say that they have not committed anything. It's okay. Don't get emotionally involved when they say that they have not committed anything. I am not in this prison excuse me, to, punish anyone. I'm not here to emotionally get triggered by the behavior of other person. Stay calm and quiet. Don't take anything personal. Don't get emotionally triggered. Okay? Controlled emotional involvement. There is another danger when we are talking about emotions, right? You feel like that, you feel sometimes when they're sharing their stories, you feel that he is resembling your brother, your father, your uncle, right? You feel that. You get emotionally attached, which is not allowed in casework. He's not your father, he's not your brother, he's in no way related to you. It is just a professional relationship where he's come to you for help and you're going to help him. That's all. Controlled emotional involvement. And when you're, especially when you're dealing with opposite sex, right? Don't get involved too much. Sometimes there is, when you're working in the community, right, it goes, little beyond the limits, which is not allowed. Don't get carried away by the stories. The stories may be true or may not. Let us not go into the investigative, investigation social work. No, we are not concerned about that. You just accept what he says and stay emotionally controlled. Sometimes transference happens, right? The client, when you're showing too much love, affection, okay, for casework, then the the client gets too attracted towards you and starts, hanging behind you, okay, which you should not allow. Counter transference is where you get, emotionally attached to him and you never leave him. Both are not good. So controlled emotional involvement, always keep your emotions under control. We are not supposed to express our emotions except in places where it is permitted. Okay, for example, you can be angry, you can express happiness, sadness, everything inside your family. You can shout at your wife, permitted, but not at the prisoner, not at the inmate. Controlling emotion is very, very important. So always keep in mind, we are not emotionally triggered, we are not emotionally, you know, getting involved with the client. We are staying away from emotions. Right? Did you understand? Okay, let's move on to the next principle. Confidentiality. All the information the client is giving you is very, very confidential. Okay? And say, for example, if the inmate says that I'll go on parole and I want to murder this one more person, then what should I do? There you have to inform the inmate that you are going to break confidentiality. Okay? And you have to inform the concerned authorities. Say, for example, the inmate says, this particular officer is troubling me, I don't know what I will do someday. Then what should you do? No confidentiality. You have to inform him that you have told this to me, so I'll inform you. Sometimes, without even informing you, in some cases, if you inform, then that turns dangerous on you. So just take the information and pass it on to you. Certain confidential affairs we have to do. But instead, he says he shares something very, heartbreaking stories with you, that his sister has encountered such and such problem, and sister has committed the murder. In her place, I have come. We don't know anything. He's just sharing. You just listen to him. That's all. Okay. In that case, you need not tell everyone that, oh, this fellow has not committed. He's come in place of sister. No need to say that. Okay, the entire criminal justice system has inquired it. They found out who he is, and he's come inside. To we want to spread it as fast as possible. Usually they say women are good at it. No, men are equally good at spreading news. So the confidentiality issue is very, 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 very tough for us. We cannot, keep even something for a single minute. Immediately we share it to someone, and it gets added up and comes back as a big story. Okay, so let's, as prison officers, let's decide to keep things confidential. Okay, trust. Without trust, relationship doesn't develop. Trust is very, very important to build relationship. So confidentiality is very important to handle the inmate. Or if you want to work with the inmate through casework process, confidentiality is very important. Okay, shall we move on to the next principle? Huh. Non-judgmental attitude. So as I told you when I started with acceptance principle, non-judgmental attitude is very important. Never judge a person. If you see a murderer, never judge him to be a murderer forever. Okay, we don't do it with our children. Even if our children steal something from their friends, we don't call him a thief. You don't guess him or judge him to be a thief forever. We don't even want that to be known to his teacher or his own, peer group. Okay, we correct the child, we advise the child, right? We do so much to, safeguard the child. Same thing we are applying here. Non-judgmental attitude. Non-judgmental. Never frame opinion of a person. Never make any judgments of a person. That is why we are saying we are not here to punish a person. We are not in prison to punish a person. We are rather here to correct a person. So if you have any preconceived ideas, judgmental ideas, please erase it. Because before he comes to your prison, you get a lot of news through media. So we frame an idea without knowing deeper into the case. We frame an idea as who is coming, what is that, and all. We need not go into that. Non-judgmental attitude. Our attitude, we make a lot of guesses, and 90% of our guesses are wrong. Right? We see a person and we say this lady is not okay, that lady is not okay, this lady is very good, right? This woman is good, that woman is good, this man is not okay. We make a lot of judgments which we are not supposed to do. Judgments quite often fail. Okay, so as a social worker, I'm not judging anyone. I am considering everyone as my equal human being. He has worth and dignity. I treat him as a human being. No judgments framed. And a murderer is not a murderer forever. A rapist is not a rapist forever. Right? A cheater is not a cheater forever. Okay, for example, Valmiki wrote Ramayana. If somebody has framed an opinion, judgmental opinion, he would have not, contributed. So never make any judgmental attitude. So let's move on to the next principle, self-determination. Though the inmate is under our custody, he still has the right to take decision. Okay, he is the best solution giver provided to his problem. You cannot make any solution. You can of course help him to help him to come out or choose the right solution, but you cannot, force any solution on it. Okay, self-determination, self-will. Determination means will. The person has will. Okay, person has the right to take decision. Okay, if you feel some solution is what he takes is wrong, or you feel that some solution is good for him, you can even facilitate it towards him, but you cannot interfere in his solution. Okay, right? Let him decide for his family. Let him decide for us. If it is a negative decision, then you can interfere. Okay, but if it is a positive decision, let him take his decision. When he comes to you with problems, he is coming to you with solutions. We are just facilitators to help him to find out the best solution. Okay, so as a caseworker, we are just facilitators. We are not going to give him any solution. He has the right to decide for his life, whatever he wants to. We can help him to find out more and more, but ultimately he decides what he wants to be. He decides for his family. He decides for his children. That is his personal space. Let us not interfere in it. Let us not go into it. Okay, and we help him. We clarify, and we help him to find out the solution. We clear him out of his emotional confusions and make him clear about what he's doing, give him clarity so that he will come out with the best solution ever he has got. That is self determination. So we are just facilitators. Okay, we are just, we are just be we are going to be with him to help him. We are not problem solution providers. We are not solution providers, right? Shall we move on to the next principle? Yes, communication. Remember, we have done a lot of activity in the class. Communication. Yes, communication is very, very important. Communication is the basic to do social work. We are not depending on anything else except communication, right? Effective communication. And in a prison or in any setting, the social worker just starts the communication and remains quiet. Okay? Maximum communication is done by the client or the inmate, not others. Okay? It's only the inmate or those who come with the problem, the clients, they do the communication. And it should be very proper. Okay, the communication, you cannot listen to the client with your mobile phone. Okay, you cannot use this mannerism to listen to the person. You have to put aside all your files, all your mobile phones, all your work, put aside and just give him 2 minutes of your listening. Listening is very important in communication. Observing, reflecting, all these you have to apply to be effective in casework, right? So communication is very important where it is more of client, less of the caseworker. And you have to be one with his emotions. When he's sharing something, crying, you're gonna say, "Hey, no, stop crying. Don't stop him. Don't stop him. Never try to stop him. Okay? Don't interfere when he's pouring out his feelings. When he's happily expressing, you also put a happy face and listen to it. Right? When he's happily expressing something, don't put a dull face. Don't tighten your face. Okay? Your emotions are equally important for the client. Client also, when you respect his emotions, he gets little closer to you. Much closer to you. So in a communication, look out for emotions. Okay? And give all your time when the communication is happening. Okay, if it is 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, only for that person. Don't allow any interference to happen. Okay, just talk to that person. Right, when he's expressing feelings, okay, try to join with his feeling. Okay, or when he's crying too loud, allow him to cry. Right, okay, don't be in a hurry to listen to the next part of the story. Just close it there, leave it, you can carry it on the next day. I'm telling you, casework is a time consuming process, but the effective process. Very effective. At the end of working out 10 cases, you will come to know how effective it is. Right? So, shall we have a recap of what we have done now? Okay. We were looking at principle of communication, principle of self-determination, principle of non-judgmental attitude, principle of confidentiality, principle of controlled emotional involvement, principle of individualization, principle of relationship or rapport building, principle of acceptance. These are the 8 principles you have to follow in casework, right? You remember this before doing casework. In the next video, uh, I'll be explaining as how to use that casework sheet which I sent you in WhatsApp. Thank you guys. Thank you.